I honestly don't feel like there's anything more important than this, than the simplicity of coming back to the present moment, of feeling your breath, of tuning into your senses, of being so deeply in your body, in your life, that you remember what it really means to be alive. Here, now. Let this moment be so sacred, a remembering of who you were before the world told you who you should be. I see you. I feel you. Welcome to the Freya podcast. Welcome home. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Freya podcast. So I was going to start recording my podcast this morning, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to change my shirt because last week's podcast, I had the same shirt. And people are going to think that I'm always wearing the same shirt. And then I was like, no, because this podcast is actually such a beautiful continuation of what we saw last week. And guys, I don't wear the same shirt, I recorded this a while ago. But this week I'm recording it live now, just a couple of days before posting the podcast, because I was feeling really inspired to talk about something that came up for me this week. So I watched a podcast. Let me just get the name of the podcast for you guys so that if you're interested in watching it, you can definitely watch it. Super, super interesting. So it's the Mel Robbins podcast, and it's with Dr. Gabor Maté, the shocking link between ADHD, addiction, autoimmune diseases, and trauma. And oh my gosh, it just completely cracked me open. You know when people speak and you have the impression when you're listening to them that they're speaking exactly to your soul, because these are things that you know, but it just feels so good to hear it from someone else and to listen to their words and be like, this is a confirmation of everything that I've ever believed to be true. Thank you for sharing this. And so this is what happened for me in this podcast. But today I want to speak on the wisdom that I gained from this podcast. And I really, really think that this is going to speak to you guys today. So before starting on this journey of awakening, of being more connected to my body, to my breath, before starting breathwork, actually, that's where it all started, I was so disconnected from myself. And I never really understood why I was disconnected from myself. I just knew that I didn't know who I was. I just had the impression that I was whoever anybody wanted me to be. Like that girl that's just there, smiling and look nice, smile, be pretty, don't disturb. That was me. And I was really good at that. But then I will always remember this moment in my life. I was sitting in my car and I was at IGA at a grocery store here in Quebec City. And my boyfriend at the time looked at me and was like, do you have any passions? What do you like? And why don't you do that? And I was just because he was kind of complaining of how I was always wanting to do something with him. On the weekends, oh, what are we doing? Let's go have fun. Let's go do this. Let's do that. But I wasn't really able to do things by myself because I was always just needing my boyfriend, my friends, someone around me to be there with me and to do the things. And this was 10 years ago. We were sitting in that car and he just looked at me and he's like, what do you like doing by yourself? And I just was I had no fucking clue. And I know I spoke about this in another podcast, so I might be repeating myself if you've watched other podcasts, but stay with me. We're heading towards something completely different. And so in that moment, I was super triggered because I was just like, how dare you ask me what I love? And because I had no clue. And it was so triggering because I was like, okay, so I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I love. And in that moment, there was just a huge awakening for me of like, okay, I have to go figure out who the fuck I am and what I want to do in this life and what I love and what I want to contribute to or what I'm passionate about and all those things. So that was the start of everything. But realizing in that moment that I had no idea who I was, what I loved, what I wanted. And I was just so focused on my relationships, on being liked, on being taken care of, on my relationships. Honestly, this was my whole world, was my boyfriend at the time. My focus was entirely on my relationship, on my boyfriend. So change boyfriends, change passion, change boyfriend, change passion. It was, and now that I like look back to it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, am I actually saying this out loud? Like, this is kind of embarrassing, but that was it. That was it. And I didn't understand how this was a thing for me and why this was a thing for me. And I just always felt like I was someone who was dépendant affectif. So in French, dépendant affectif, but in English, it's like dependent on attachment. I don't know if you can say it that way, but I fed off the attention, off the love, off the love that someone else would give me. And my gosh, I'm saying this and I'm just realizing so many things as I say this. Anyways, so going back to the podcast, in this podcast, Gabor Maté, he talks a lot about the human needs, especially in the context of childhood development, attachment, and trauma. And he strongly believes that most of the things that we are going through as adults, traumas, anxiety, depression, addiction, ADHD, have a link, a strong link to how we were brought up in the first 7 years of our life. And this makes total sense in regards to how I was brought up in the first 7 years of my life, looking back at my family, my mom, my dad, and our relationships and all that. I had a beautiful family and I had parents who loved me, but there was a lot of attachment in that love. And this is what I was associating love to. Love for me was attachment. So anyways, going back to the podcast, he speaks about how human beings have two fundamental needs. The first, attachment, connection. And this is like so obvious. You know, we're born as a little baby. We cannot take care of ourselves. We're just super vulnerable. And the only thing that we actually need is our mom and our dad to take care of us. Without that, we probably wouldn't last, 48 hours. So we are solely dependent on our caregivers taking care of us as babies. And this is where the need for attachment comes, connection, because without that, we don't survive. This is a survival need. This is deep within us. The second fundamental need of a human being is authenticity. My gosh, and this made so much sense. Made so much sense for me. Okay, so authenticity, self-expression, the ability to be who you truly are in all your feelings and all your emotions and all your thoughts and all that you desire and all your fears, like the ability to be seen for who you truly are. Authenticity. And if you listen to the other podcasts, I speak about authenticity and about how when I moved to my condo and became a single mom, I had a huge awakening on my vision board where authenticity was like the big word on my vision board. Because in that moment, I felt like I was starting a whole different life and I could be whoever the fuck I wanted to be. And it was exciting and fucking scary because I had no clue what I was doing. But in that moment, all I wanted was to be seen for who I truly am, because this was my clean slate. And this clean slate can be your tomorrow morning. It can be whatever. It's just the decision to be yourself and to stick to that and to commit to that and to have certainty that you are amazing when you are yourself. You are beautiful. You are radiant. You are magnificent when you are yourself in all your light, in all your shadows. And you can go back and listen to, I think it's podcast 2 or 3 where I speak about this. But so these are our 2 fundamental needs as human beings: attachment, connection, and authenticity, being our true selves. Great. That's it. Have a beautiful day, guys. Okay, wait. I'm going to take a sip of this matcha. So where's the challenge in that? Where is the like, okay, so what are you saying? So this is what I realized, the wisdom that came through for me after watching this podcast is I realized that there were so many moments in my life where I showed my true self and I was rejected for showing that. And this can be as simple as, don't cry, you're a good girl, you're a big girl, don't show yourself too much, oh, you're shining too much, or oh, why are you standing out so much? Do you like this attention? Or stop hiding, stop being shy, stop doing, like, just constantly being put in environments that shape us into a human being that can be socially accepted. And I mean, there's nothing, I'm not labeling this as good or bad. I'm just saying that this is what happened. These are the facts. I was put into school. I was put into daycare. I was brought up by 2 parents who did their best. I was integrated into different circles of friends that had different beliefs. And I just started believing that in order to be loved, I needed to be exactly how that person told me I should be. And this started so fucking young. Guys, these are like the first 7 years of your life. And these are like, if you have children, you know that the first 7 years of their lives, you are so important. And it is so triggering as a mom for me, because it's like once you become aware of all of this, you're just like, okay, am I messing my child up right now? Like, how do I do this? How do I install boundaries? How do I do this motherhood thing without making them believe that they're not worthy of being who they are when they're fucking throwing a tantrum because they can't wear their blue shirt today? Like, this is so triggering as a mom. And guys, I'm sure you will relate to this, but the first 7 years of our lives are the most important for our development. And in those 7 years of my life, I realized that in order to be loved, in order to be accepted, in order to belong, I needed to act a certain way that I was entirely giving the power to the external in order to tell me how I must be in order to be liked. As a sensitive person, very sensitive, attuned to the subtle emotional world that no one sees but everyone can feel, like that was me. There are so many situations where I felt emotions and I was told, not here. Nope, don't do that. And it just like repress in order to belong, in order to be liked. I see it as like, you know, when I started breathwork, this is the vision that I always had when I was breathing. I felt like I was unpeeling those layers that I allowed the external to slap on me because I was vulnerable. I was young. I was just looking to survive in a sense, because survival meant connection, meant attachment. And I was just looking to belong in this world at like the most deepest part of this is like, I was just wanting to belong. And all these layers that I put on myself in order to survive, I was peeling those off through breath work. And I was realizing who I was. And it makes so much sense now, but I had no idea what I was doing at the time. I just felt like I was crying a lot, like I was experiencing a lot of anger, like I had no fucking clue what I wanted anymore. Like I was just in environments that weren't uplifting me anymore, but I just like felt resistance because I didn't know what to do. So I was just there and I didn't really want to be there. And I just coping mechanisms of like eating, drinking, doing whatever I could to numb the feelings that I was feeling because I wasn't comfortable in where I was. Like all of this makes so much sense now because I understand what happened. But in that moment, I had no clue what was happening. I just was breathing and feeling and unpeeling those layers. And it just felt so messy and yucky. And I was, oh my gosh, I was so happy to be a part of a community that supported me in that and that allowed me to be seen in all that I am. But it was so hard in the beginning to do that, to be seen for who I was. It was like, I remember doing women's circle in the beginning and I was just going to these retreats and like just feeling the call to go to these things that I had no idea what they were, but I had to be there. And I followed my heart and I went there and I sat there. And in the beginning of the women's circle, you had to present yourself, say your name and why you were here. And I just could feel my heart racing and just like, oh my gosh, I don't belong here. What am I going to say? I'm probably going to cry. My voice is going to shake. Oh my gosh, I'm going to turn red. Am I red? Am I already red? Oh my God. And just like, and I was just sitting there in the beginning of that. And now 10 years later, I'm leading these freaking circles, like leading in a sense, like not leading like I'm the leader and you guys are no, just like holding space for these circles to be created. And we're all co-creating this together. This is the beauty of it. It's just to see that evolution is crazy. And I want to bring it back to the wisdom that I acquired from this podcast is that we have to take a moment and see ourselves as the little boy or the little girl that was trying to survive. And now, as human beings, we have the power to bring the awareness back in and make better choices for ourselves. And I'm so excited about leading this workshop. We're going to Costa Rica in 2 weeks. There's still 2 spots left if ever you're interested. I'm just going to bring that out here. I feel like there's people who might still be interested in this, even if it's very last minute. I remember the things that I used to do last minute, the retreats that I booked like 2 days before the retreat. And I was just like, yes, yes, yes. If it's a full body yes, trust that. So yeah, leaving to Costa Rica in 2 weeks. And I'm so excited about leading this workshop. So there's 2 fundamental needs for human beings. Now that we're aware of that, we know that the fact that we want to please, the fact that we want to be liked, the fact that we, especially as women, because women, what we want in life is safety. Like we need, like our primal need is to feel safe. If we bring it back to like 100,000 years ago when we had no ability to like take care of ourselves, where women were basically birthing children and needing to feel safe in that, like postpartum, vulnerable. And it was the man needed to bring in the providing energy of providing shelter, of providing food, and we were there to take care of the kids. And it's deep in our cells, in our blood, in our line, in our lineage, this need to be safe. It's primal. So when we understand that this attachment, like I used to be so hard on myself and I was just like, why am I so in need of this love that comes outside of me? Why do I'm always seeking external validation, external praise, external love, because this is what I associated to my survival. For me to belong, for me to feel an attachment to my relationships means I'm safe, means I can survive in this world. And that is deep, 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 deep. So if you are a woman who can feel like you're anxiously attached in your relationships, give yourself some love. And if you're avoidant, give yourself some love, because in reality, it's all just the same thing. We're just all living in fear because we haven't been taught that love is authentic. Love is free. Love is open. Love is love. Attachment is fear. It's survival. So if you can resonate with this, my best advice for you right now is to find a way to feel that love from within. There are so many ways you can do that, guys. So many ways nowadays. It has never been easier to work on yourself than now. And this is why I'm so passionate about what I do. It's because I want to help people. Like I want to make you see what I see. I want to make your life just like this instead of this. And it's so for me, how to bring that love back into myself was breath work. So if you're interested in experiencing breathwork, we're actually doing a breathwork session this Sunday, and I do one every month. So you can write to me directly to get information on those monthly community circles. But yes, creating that love that you're searching from outside yourself, letting it come from within, embracing it, reconnecting to it, because we're not little girls anymore. We can be our true authentic self and attract our people to us. So the second A, which is authenticity. The more authentic you are, the more you show yourself as you are, the more you're going to attract people, environments, collaborations, events, jobs, whatever it is that are aligned for you. But if you're showing a part of you, or if you're still in environments where you don't feel like you belong and you're just like, I've outgrown this, I don't want this, I want more, like there was something inside of me for such a long time before I started my inner healing journey where I was mad. I was so mad. I felt anger because I wanted more from life. And I just saw so many people around me settle. And it's not like I want more because I'm ungrateful. It's I know what is possible here on planet Earth because I have felt it in the most simplest moments of reconnecting to presence and breath and myself as a young child. It brings emotions in me when I speak about this because there are moments in my life where I tapped into the divine and I know everything that is possible for us as human beings on planet Earth. And I just watched the people I love, my friends, my family, a lot of people around me settle for less than what they're capable of than what I see in them. And it was like frustrating because it was just mirroring back what I was doing to myself. And I've always known that I was capable of more, of big things, and not big things like here or it's just feeling more alive and like might as well just take it all in while I'm here on planet Earth and fully live my life. Like that was the vibe. I didn't want to settle for the comfort zone, normal, expected lifestyle. I wanted to dream big and to accomplish big things. And it was just in me. It was pushing me like, go, you're here for more, do it. Like there came a time in my life where I was just outgrowing so many environments and I was just in parties or drinking and I was just, this isn't me anymore. I don't want this like getting drunk every weekend type vibe and like thinking this is life, like waiting for the Friday to like start over again on Monday and hate your life because you hate your job. Like, no, that wasn't me. I didn't want that. And so it took a lot of courage to realize that my authentic self was actually so different than my environment. And a lot of the time I was just this black sheep who just thought completely different things. And I didn't but feel like I belonged anywhere. But in reality, it was because I was showing a part of myself that I thought I needed to be in order to fit in, but I was trying to fit into places I had outgrown. So when you start being your authentic self, you start attracting different opportunities, different people, different relationships. And you're just like, oh, okay, this kind of world exists as well. And it's not that the other people like are bad and not like as good as you. It has nothing to do with that. It's just like, I'm going to shine in my light, be authentic. And a lot of people from my environments in the past are coming back and being like, I'm curious, like what you're doing. And these are beautiful people. The fact that I'm shining in my truth is just bringing the right people back into my circle that are aligned with this version of myself that I am. And that doesn't mean that the people in my past are not aligned anymore forever. It just means that I have to have the courage to jump into the unknown and to trust that who I am in this moment is enough, belongs, is worthy of being seen. That took so much unlayering of those layers that I slapped on myself in order to be loved, in order to feel safe, in order to be attached. And then the third A, which I'm going to end on this A, is, okay, so now that I know all this, and now that I've untangled all this, like, what can I do? It's bringing awareness into that, into your present moment, into your daily life, and just becoming aware of your patterns, becoming aware of how you feel when you're with certain people, or how you feel when you're doing this versus how you feel when you're doing that. And then asking yourself, am I saying yes to this because I really want to, or am I saying yes to this because I feel like I need to? And then slowly having the courage to say no when you feel like it's a no. And then experimenting with that. But the first step is really just to bring awareness to this, because I don't want to get too much into, okay, but what do I do? Like, if you're interested in that, ask about Divine. We do all of this work together as a collective, and it's so much easier to do it as a group of people who are motivating each other and supporting each other and unlayering these layers all together. This is such an amazing community. You can write to me directly and I will share you the information on how you can do that with us. But there are so many different ways that you can start working on yourself nowadays. Like, it's so accessible. But you got to just find your people, and you got to find the things that light you up and the things that attract you. And you have to bring awareness to daily life. So bringing presence to the things that you do and asking yourself, does this still feel good to me now? Like, it's as simple as that. But if you're constantly living up here and you're never in the body, then you are so disconnected from your truth. There's no way you can know who you are if you're not connected to the body. If you're only connected to what you think you need to be in order to be loved and to the thoughts of the past, then you're just spiraling back into that same pattern constantly, and you're reliving your past in your present. Therefore, it becomes your future. So it's like, if you want to change, you have to start bringing awareness. And with awareness comes emotions. Because in the beginning, it's going to be frustrating to see all this, because it's like, okay, now that I know this, I can't unsee it anymore. And then because I can't unsee it, I need to start making new decisions. And because I need to make new decisions, it's going to impact my life and my comfort zone. And that feels fucking unsafe. But then you have to remember the two fundamental truths of humans is that we want to be authentic and we want attachment, connection. So find your people, find your community that are going to allow you to be your most authentic self. That for me is the thing that changed everything. Is like, when I didn't feel like I belonged anymore, anywhere, I started having the courage to ask myself, okay, so what do I like? Like in the beginning of this podcast, when my boyfriend was like, what do you love? Who are you? And I was like, I have no fucking clue. Okay, we'll start there, guys. Bring awareness to your life and start noticing what you like, what you don't like, what speaks to you, what makes you feel alive, what makes you feel like you could do anything in this world. Like when you're speaking to someone and you feel it and you feel more expansive, you feel more free, you feel more light, like that is your cue. That lives in your body. Those emotions that you feel live in your body. But then when you're around people that make you feel like, oh, restrictive, anger, like that's your cue. Connect here. Because if you're not connected to this, you're not connected to presence, you're not connected to your power, you don't know who the fuck you are. And I say this with so much love because I have been there. And there is not a day that I would go back to that version of myself and not do everything that I have done to become who I am today, because it is so worth it. So worth it. So AAA, guys, attachment, authenticity, awareness, and bringing all that back into love and presence, and realizing that we're not broken. There's nothing wrong with us. We just need to find our people. We just need to have the courage to be seen for who we are. And we just need to bring more presence and awareness to our life so that we can fully live it and fully be in it. And that's the thing that I crave the most in the beginning of this awakening journey, is like, I want more from life. Therefore, I need to be alive. I need to be here now. I need to be present. And it all starts there. And for me, it all started with my breath. All right. So I hope this spoke to you. If you want to share this with someone who needs to hear this, please share. Comment on how this made you feel. I love reading your comments. And if you're interested in really going deeper into this work and really feeling like you're a part of a community that supports this kind of wisdom, transformation, evolution, awakening, speak to me about Divine. We're leaving to Costa Rica in 2 weeks. It's going to be amazing. If you're interested in that, you can write to me as well. And otherwise, I wish you guys such a beautiful day. Bye.